Hello and welcome back to the Empower Her Business Accelerator podcast. My name is Philippa Channer and I am your host. And today we're continuing our series on content pillars, types, and planning. So excited. Just in a couple days, I'm going to be announcing the winners of the giveaway that I offered. So looking forward to getting those out there. And ladies, we have an Empower Her power session and a group session starting in January. So please, if you haven't signed up yet, there's more details in the show notes. There's still time to jump on that. This 12-week experience is a great opportunity to just really kickstart your year off strong, having a solid foundation with some great business strategy and marketing strategy at your disposal. So looking forward to seeing you all there. Now, in the last two episodes of this series, we talked about content pillars and how to choose the right content types to deliver your message. Today, we're going to be focusing on how to bring it all together by creating a content plan that is actually sustainable and aligned with your goals and realistic for your schedule, especially as a solopreneur. All right, so why do you need a content plan? Like, how is it helpful? I think it's one of the most important things as a solopreneur when it comes to marketing your business. If you don't have a plan on how you're marketing your business, then who knows what's going to happen if anything happens. Having a content plan is essential for staying consistent and organized. Without a plan, it's easy to get overwhelmed, to lose focus, especially when you're juggling multiple tasks as a solopreneur. We're talking like you're running your business. You're also probably likely running a family, or at least maybe your wife. There's so much on our shoulders to think about. And so a good content plan ensures that you're sharing valuable, relevant content regularly without burning yourself out and without just, dropping the content ball. All right, so your content plan should map out what content you're going to create, when you're going to publish it, and how you will repurpose it across different platforms. And it helps you maintain a steady flow of communication with your audience. It helps build momentum and stay on track with your business goals. And so let's start with the first step in this process. This is planning your content around your pillars. So first, you want to start by planning out your content around the pillars that you've identified. Again, this was what we discussed 2 episodes ago. So take a look at episode 156 if you haven't already. This ensures that everything you produce is aligned with your broader business strategy and the needs of your audience. So ask yourself, how can I create content that supports each of my content pillars? What type of content will resonate most with my audience for each pillar? And how can I ensure that I'm consistently addressing my business goals and my audience's problems? For example, if one of your pillars is solving your customers' pain points, you might plan a series of blog posts or videos that offer actionable solutions to common challenges that your customers face. The next step in this process is to set realistic publishing frequency. As a solopreneur, it's important to set a realistic content publishing schedule that works for you. You don't need to post every single day to be successful. Consistency is more important than frequency. Think about how much time you realistically have to create content and set a schedule that you can stick with without overwhelming yourself. So for instance, ask yourself, can I commit to 1 blog post per week? Would 1 podcast episode every 2 weeks be more manageable? How many social media posts can you consistently create each week? Remember, it's better to post less frequently but consistently than to burn yourself out trying to create too much content. And here's a tip, just a side note. If you feel overwhelmed, you want to consider batching your content. Set aside a day or 2 each month to create multiple pieces of content at one time and then schedule them out over time. This approach helps reduce the daily pressure of content creation, and it helps get you in that mindset of thinking ahead and being one step ahead. You can still post, in the moment content as well. This will be in addition to the content you've already scheduled and thought out and created. So it's a win-win all around. You clear up your schedule on a daily basis and you knock it out all in one stop. I love this method. When I'm recording these podcasts, I record a month at a time to give me the opportunity to just have them scheduled out. And then I just have the whole month to just focus on my clients and other parts of my business. All right, the next step. So first step, what we talked about is planning the content around the pillars. Next, we want to pick a realistic frequency. Now we're going to map out your content calendar. Once you determine your content pillars and how often you'll publish, it's time to map out your content calendar and how that's going to look. A content calendar helps you visualize what content you're going to post, when, and on what platforms. So here's what to include in your content calendar. You want to include the content types. Decide what type of content you'll produce. Is it going to be a blog post, a video, a podcast? Put that for each piece of content, unless you're consistently always doing podcasts or consistently always doing videos. If you're changing it up and being flexible and mixing things up, you want to note on your content plan what that type is. So when you visualize the calendar, you visualize the effort that you need to put into it as well. You also want on this content calendar is the publishing dates. You want to assign a specific dates to each piece of content and when it's going to go live. If you want to take it one step further, you can have 2 columns for dates and have a date of when you need to have the creation completed and done by, and then the publication date. So maybe you create a week ahead, but then you schedule it out. So whatever system works for you, you want to have at least the due date on the calendar. Next is the call to action. Ensure that each piece of content includes a clear call to action, whether if it's just signing up for your newsletter, scheduling a consultation, or following you on social media. Whatever your goals are is going to drive what your call to action should be, and you want to be consistent with that. We discussed, I think it was last week or the week before, about whether or not each post, if it needs a call to action. During the content pillars conversation, you can sometimes have a whole pillar just for sales, or you can spread it out and have that call to action on each post, whichever way you want to do it. If there's a post that's not salesy, having something as like, hey, make sure you're following us on social media is a good call to action that's not too aggressive, and it's good to have it on there. So that way your audience knows what it is you want them to do with you. Your content calendar is so key. It's going to keep you organized. It's going to ensure that you're consistent, and it's going to allow you to see the big picture of your content strategy. There's 2 more steps, so we're not done yet. The next step is repurpose or recycle your content. Don't forget to repurpose and recycle your content, because when you create something, it's gold, and you want to get the most out of it. You don't need to create brand new content from scratch each and every time you do something. Instead, think about how you can take one piece of content and turn it into multiple formats. Again, here's an example of what you can do. So let's say you turn a blog post into a podcast episode or a YouTube series. You can share key points from your blog posts in bite-sized social media posts, and then you can update older content, refresh the insights, and repost it. Maybe change the name of the article, add some new updated insights, fresh new piece of content. Repurposing your content not only saves time, but it also helps ensure that you're reaching different segments of your audience who prefer different type of content formats. As mentioned last week, when we're picking the format, you want to pick a format that you're comfortable delivering. That delivery method may not be what everybody else wants to receive content in. So being able to repurpose your content that may meet their needs is key. All right, and then the last step on this track and this process is to track your progress and stay flexible. It's important to track your progress. Regularly you want to review the performance of your content to see what's really working and what isn't. You can use tools like Google Analytics, your social media platforms, they all should have insight tools, your email open rates, whatever your platform you are using, you should have some type of analytics to kind of gauge how successful your content is being and assess how well your content is resonating with your audience. If certain content types or topics are getting more engagement, you're going to consider producing more of that kind of content. If something isn't performing as expected, adjust your strategy. Your content plan should be flexible enough to evolve as you learn more about what works best for your audience and for your business. And so creating a content plan, it's all about aligning your content with your goals, being consistent, and setting a frequency that works for you. By mapping out your strategy in advance and repurposing content, you can create a sustainable content plan that supports your growing business. And it's going to support you as you mature as a CEO. So thanks for joining me today. Next week, we're going to wrap up the series with a special Q&A episode where I'm going to answer your questions about content strategy and planning. And don't forget the Empower Her Power Session and Group Session we're launching in January. If you'd like to chat more about the program and how it can help you, I'm offering a free session that's going to give you an opportunity to ask me any questions you have, get to know the program, see if it's a right fit for you. The link to sign up for that is in the show notes. Until next time, keep shining, ladies, and remember, a solid content plan is the key to staying consistent and achieving your goals.